Hi, welcome to Madras Academy. In this session, we are going to learn about React. First, what is React? React is a powerful JavaScript library for building user interface. It used to create a front-end application. It is developed by Facebook. It is not a framework. It is a component-based library. If we compare with then Angular and React, React is faster than Angular. Why? Because React component is rendering in virtual DOM. What is virtual DOM? How it is working? We'll see that. Before that, React is a single page application. Why we are calling like a single page application? In web page, we have two types. One is multi-page application, another one is single page application. Okay, multi-page application, each and every time it's getting load and it will display the output. If it is a single page application, whatever the changes we are going to do it in that page, only that object will change. It won't reload again and again. That is a different. Okay, so for that, here I will show you one more website for that. See, here I am taking W3 School website. This is created in ASP.NET. This is a tutorial website. And once I click any one of the tutorial from here, see, it's every time it's getting loaded and it will display the output. If I click here, see, it's loading, displaying the output. Each and every time, entire content is loading and it displaying the output. This is the multi-page website. And if you move on to the single page website, for that I'm taking a Flipkart. So I'm going to select any one of the toys. Now see, the page is not loaded, but whatever the content I need to get in our web page, that will display it immediately. Only this content is loading. Okay, the page is not loading. One more time I will click it. See, page is not loaded, only the content is changing. Okay, in the same way, this is the React professional website. So here also I'm having a menu. So once I click any one of the menu, the page is not getting loaded, but the content is displaying here. Okay, so like this kind of website is called as a single page application. Why we are creating this kind of single page application? Now, it is very fast and smooth application. We can create very smooth application and it won't reload again and again. Okay, so for that purpose we are using this single page application, and it is a open source. It is called as V, that means view, model view controller, that you already learned, right? In that part, React is a view. Okay, it makes time save and memory reduce. Why? Because React component is rendered using virtual DOM. React only change what we need to be changed. It will not change all the objects in our web page. Each and every time once I click any one of the menu, it won't change all the object. Okay, whatever the changes we need, only that changes will display in our web page. Okay, so this kind of process how we are handling in React, we are using reconciliation process and the defining algorithm method for this. So how it is working, we'll see that. Here I already told you React is working based upon the virtual DOM, like that. See, I'm having one diagram here. So whenever the client is going to pass the request, okay, so consider this is a browser. I'm going to open the Flipkart website. If I click a Flipkart URL, if I enter the Flipkart URL in a browser, immediately it will display the output in our front end, right, for the client. How it is displaying now? See, here it will create one virtual DOM. Okay, whenever the client is passing the request, it will create one virtual DOM, and using this virtual DOM, whatever the request they are asking from the client, okay, that will be updated to the actual DOM, that is a real DOM. Okay, and that actual DOM will respond to the client view. Okay, so intermediately we are having the virtual DOM. Immediately whatever the request we are getting, that request will update it in a virtual DOM. Okay, each and every time it won't pass the request to the server. So using this virtual DOM, it will send the request to the actual DOM, and actual DOM will respond to the client view. So like this way the virtual DOM process will work. Here I am having a previous virtual DOM and a new virtual DOM, like that one, two images. See, I'm using a Flipkart website. Okay, considered like that. So I'm going to see the menswear and the toys. Okay, and I'm going to visit that page now. Immediately that will display, right? So this previous virtual DOM is getting the memory from the menswear and the toys, and this previous virtual DOM, and as well as in a new virtual DOM, I'm going to search one more page for the electronic items. Okay, once I click that electronic item page now, so now this previous virtual DOM is compared with the new virtual DOM, and here we are getting the new request, right? So whatever the request we are having here right now, that will be immediately updated to the actual virtual DOM also. And this actual virtual DOM will display the output to the client. Okay, so this kind of process, again, if I'm going to purchase any other product, okay, I'm going to move on to the some other link now. In the same way, this will under with the previous virtual DOM, and again one more new virtual DOM will create. Okay, and now it will compare with the previous and the new virtual DOM, and whatever the new request we are getting from that particular client, that request will be again, it will update to the actual virtual DOM. Like this it will execute the process. Okay, so this kind of process is called as a reconciliation process. Okay, so it's comparing with the previous and the new virtual DOM. Okay, and whatever the new request we are getting, that will be passing to the actual virtual DOM, and actual virtual DOM, it will display the result to the client. Like this way the process will done. And here how we are implementing the defining algorithm. What is defining algorithm method? This is a method. Okay, so what is doing here? Defining algorithm. Compare the two previous virtual DOM and current virtual DOM, and it helps to update the current changes to the actual DOM. Okay, whatever the current changes we are getting, that actually whatever the changes we are getting, that will be updated to the actual DOM. Like this way this defining algorithm method will work. For that, see, this is the previous virtual DOM and as well as current virtual DOM. Whatever the new update we are getting here, that will be updated immediately to the actual virtual DOM. Okay, so it's comparing with the previous and current. Okay, and here I am getting a new electronic item request, immediately that will be updated to the actual virtual DOM. Like this way the process will done. Okay, and using defining algorithm method that will be implemented here. Okay, next, how the React is managing this process. Okay, so how this virtual DOM is comparing and how it is managing the process in a React application is, React is a one-way data binding. Okay, React is a one-way data binding. We can pass the value to the parent to child, but not a child to parent. Okay, so we can maintain the data in our React component using state and props. Okay, and what is state? It is a data that can maintain in a same component. We are not able to get the value to the child component. We can maintain that value in a same component. Okay, and it is used in class component only. In React we are having two types of component. One is class component, another one is function component. Okay, in class component we can maintain the state, but props we can maintain in a function component. And using props we can pass the data from parent to child. Okay, but state we cannot able to pass the data. We can maintain the data in a same component. How we are going to implement this concept in a React, we'll see it in a practical session. Okay, next we need to learn about JSX. What is this JSX in React? What is doing here? JSX is nothing but JavaScript plus XML, or we can tell as a JavaScript plus HTML code. Okay, so we can combine this both HTML and JavaScript together in React. That concept is called as a JSX. Okay, and this is a new language similar to Java, PHP, Python, like that. Okay, so we are writing the business logic method using JSX. So once you return the code using JSX, the browser will not able to understand this language. Okay, probably in Python also, if you are going to write any code, the browser will not understand, right? In Django we are writing Python, but the browser will not understand, right? So we are having some transaction in that languages. In the same way, here also, once you return a code in JSX, we need to transfer that programming language to JavaScript. Then only the code will understand by the browser and it will display the output. So that process is done by the Babel. What is this Babel? It is a third-party library. This is the JavaScript compiler. Okay, the advanced version code will not understand by the browser. Okay, browser will understand only the JavaScript, HTML, CSS, this one. Okay, so the advanced version code will not understand by the browser. For that understanding, we are using Babel compiler. Okay, so what is this Babel compiler? How it is executing in our React application? Everything we will see it in a practical section. Okay, next, in JavaScript we are having two types of programming. We can write two types of programming. In that, first one is a imperative programming and declarative programming. In JavaScript we are having two types of programming, imperative and declarative. Okay, React is a declarative syntax. Okay, and what is this imperative programming? See, if I'm going to create a front-end application, okay, I'm having one text box and I'm going to enter the value. When I click the submit button, I need to get the value to the JavaScript. So using ID or name attribute, we need to get the value in JavaScript. In that time, we need to use a document.getElementById or document.getElementByName. Using this method, we need to get the value. Okay, without this method, we are not able to get the value from the HTML to JavaScript. That we already learned, right? In the same way, create element. Like this, we are having lots of method. Okay, so if I'm going to get the value from the HTML to JavaScript, we need to use this method. Then only we can able to collect the value from HTML to JavaScript. Okay, this type of logic is called as a imperative programming. And now we will move on to the declarative programming, that is declarative syntax. Okay, if I used this, no need to write any method here. Okay, from JavaScript, if we need to get the input from HTML, no need any other method, directly we can call the value. Okay, this type is called as a declarative programming method. In React, we are using this way. Okay, to get the value from HTML to JavaScript, we are using the declarative syntax. So how we need to write this, we'll see that. And then I already explained about the state and the props. This is one way we can maintain the data from the same component and as well as a different component, and it is a one-way binding, like that I told you. State is maintained in a class and props is maintained in a function. You can maintain in a function. And similar way, we are having one more concept, React hooks. Okay, so what is this hooks? Here also we can maintain the data. Okay, in class component, state is used to maintain the data. In class component, we are using state, but in function component, we can use hook. Okay, and what is the difference between in state and hook? In class component, we are using state. In function component, we are using hook. And using this hook, how we are going to maintain the data in React, we will see that. And I will tell you the difference while we move on to the practical session. Okay, and this is one more new concept. Using hook also we can maintain the data in function component, but it is not working in a class component. It will work only in a function component, hook. Okay, and then we need to learn about router. Okay, router means menu. Consider the menu. Okay, so I'm having home, about, contact, register. Okay, so like that we are having a different types of menu. Okay, and we need to maintain the path. Okay, using the path, the page will change in React. We need to mention the path. Okay, using that path, whatever the path we are going to give, using that path, it will change the page. From one page to another page we can move. Okay, so how we are going to implement this routering method in our React, we'll see that. And each and every time, no need to access the server. Okay, so whatever the path we are going to define in that, using that path, that object will change. Okay, we can access from the render path directly, and it won't reload the page again and again. Okay, so for that only we are using the React router in our concept, and how to implement, we'll see that. And finally we are going to learn about React Redux API. Okay, Redux is a tool. It used to access the data from the API. Okay, so I'm going to create any front end in a React now. So whatever the registration form, I'm going to create it. So once I click the button, whatever the input we entered in our text box, we need to collect that all the values, and using Django or PHP or Java. Okay, I'm going to collect the value from the front end to back end, and using that back end, I'm going to store the value to the database. Okay, so like that way we can transfer the data from one application to another application. Okay, client and server communication using API, and how to communicate using the Redux tools, we'll see that. Okay, and these are all the main topics we are going to plan for the React application, and how to create the applications, everything we'll say it in a practical session. Okay, now what is React and how it is working. Okay, you will be getting some knowledge about this, and while we move on to the practical session, we'll see one by one. Okay, thanks for watching.